Awesome. So Darren, you want to say hi to everyone and introduce the whole purpose of the call today?
Sure. Thanks everyone for joining. Um, Welcome to Lifewave. Um, so yeah, this is just an introduction to the patches that I've been using for the last probably year or so. But just recently I've got more serious and got back onto them. I'll explain that later. But this is Vanessa and Steph. These are some of the leaders in my team that they know a lot more about the company and the patches and the technology. And yeah, they're going to help me explain what it's all about and hopefully get you guys informed and let you know about this amazing technology and how it can help everyone. And that's about it.
That's awesome. So hi, I'm Dr. Steph. I work in integrative medicine. I work in the telehealth model deliberately because of what happened a few years ago and people being marginalized in how they could operate. So I saw value in being able to increase my reach through the telehealth model and haven't looked back. And since then, I'd heard about the lightwave therapy patches and thought this is going to be phenomenal. I understood the science completely, which I can go into a little bit later, but I just could not say no to this in terms of giving something that is very exclusive my patients access to. And when I reached out to Darren, he'd actually heard about it. Like he said, he's been using it for some time, but he had to import it from America. It was, tedious, expensive. And I said, we actually now have it. We've got it TGA approved. We have access to warehouse and shipping in Victoria. And he was like, I'm on. There was no hesitation. I know so many people that this is going to help. So that's how we got connected in this. I've known him for many years, and I'm really excited and grateful that you've all accepted his invite to hop on. If you're watching the recording, feel free to ask any questions direct to Darren or myself. After this recording's finished, you can certainly stay on and ask any questions and we'll answer them. I heard about this through a mutual friend of Vanessa and mine, and I reached out. Vanessa's been phenomenal in helping us spread the conversation, small amounts of education around it, what it is. We get a lot of the same questions. So this video is going to cover all of that, and hopefully you'll see value in elevating and amplifying your own health with the Lifewave patches. So Vanessa, over to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks. It's always an honor. And on behalf of Andrew and I, who couldn't be on today, but will be on a lot of different calls, you'll see if you just connect into the community in any way. We my husband and I are married 25 years, 4 girls, all young adults, teenagers and young adults now, and just spent 9 years overseas. In fact, after born and raised in Australia, spent 9 years overseas essentially as missionaries to French-speaking Canada in Quebec. And in the last year, after COVID and all that wild world of being in Canada over those last years, we actually relocated to Florida. And a year into trying to immigrate into America, we realized our parents were never going to get back on a plane again, and that this was really important as a family to be in proximity to them in a season that we sensed we needed to steward. So we came back to Australia, started from scratch, and really essentially in every way, as many people have after this season of life. And so a best mate of Andrew's called up Andrew, kind of probably similar to what Steph did to Darren, and just said, hey, there's something pretty incredible in the health world right now. Have you heard of the X39? We'd been in the wellness space for years, health and also on a spiritual level, but we were always very integrative and holistic in our approach to helping people. So my ears peaked really quickly around light technology, similar probably to Dr. Steph, because in America, there was just such amazing access to photo light therapy, red light therapy, med beds, and some of the things that Australia hadn't always had access to yet. And having worked with people for 25 years, for my husband and I, the two greatest pain points in their life were often around their health, obviously. And then for us, we actually love a good integrous direct selling model. So my ears peaked as well about something pretty ground floor in Australia, because I had been trying to bring in supplements to Australia, and TGA is like often a nightmare to deal with. And so the fact that something like Steph was saying was already here was a really big deal for us. And so we were listening on two different levels, and today we'll just share absolutely around the technology, but a little bit around that business structure as well, just for those that say, okay, great, I'd love some flow back, or that would be really, really valuable to me and my family right now. So we're 8 months in sharing this technology. We've essentially personally patched hundreds and hundreds of people. We have a team of about 800 now sharing just through this particular flow. Thousands in Australia are already patching, which is also really exciting. So what we're going to share with you right now is pretty much what Andrew's best mate had us watch, just so we could learn as well. And again, we were a pretty full-bodied yes the second he called us. But that was a trust currency and a testimonies that he was sharing. But this presentation helped us make a bit more sense of something that in Aussie language, we could say it just sounds too good to be true. So we will just present that to you now, and then absolutely hand it back to Steph and Darren. And then we'll also stop the recording. And just for those that honored the space today, we'll also answer some questions and further questions later for those with the recording. So I'm going to share my screen and just show you what it is we were presented with while I do that. Okay. Just while you are waiting for me, Steph, if you just want to say anything while I get this presentation ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So I personally get asked a lot, why did I align with this? I'm a physician, I work in integrative medicine. So my whole charter is to support people moving away from the pharmaceutical matrix, because as you know, you usually end up on other medicines to manage the side effects of the first medicine. And I deal with a lot of patients that are coming through spinal incomplete injuries, PTSD, through to, like I said, integrative medicine, regen health, so reverse aging. And that is a possible, not possible, it is perfectly doable with the Lifewave patches. One of the things that I do love about this personally is the fact that it is TGA approved. I mentioned that earlier. I just want to talk to that for a moment. If you've ever actually looked at wellness products, and I mean genuine wellness products that impact straight away, the TGA thoroughly scrutinizes them. So I will be clear, TGA also lets through things that make me question going, what the hell? But with reference to the integrity of this, the company did not just come in here and open up the market without a TGA approval. The integrity of the company was making sure that we had a product that under scrutiny would stand up and be outstanding. And that is exactly what we have. So Vanessa, over to you.
Exactly. Awesome. All right. So first of all, we do want to congratulate Darren, because this is his essential online launch. He's already shared with friends and family some, but we love celebrating this moment when someone says, you know what, it's too good not to share with others. So congratulations, Darren, on behalf of Andrew and I and our whole team. And what an honor just to get to know so many people in this team. Bit of background to Lifewave and David Schmidt. He is an inventor, so he is not a doctor. He's not trying to be a doctor. He's absolutely in incredible relationships with many in the medical profession, but he is an inventor in the biotech space, very well known actually for years and years. I have friends as well that actually knew his name before they even knew what Lifewave was. He has, over the course of his life as an inventor, had over 130 patents to his own name and some really valued awards as well. So we are really excited about his leadership in this company. What we love, having been in direct selling before, we love that he is the inventor and the CEO. See, a lot of these companies, have great business strategy, but they need to basically bring in an inventor or a scientist, right? And you pay them to just endorse what they've already kind of developed. They don't hold the patents for. So there's like an endorsement. But this guy, this is his baby and has been for years and years. He's always specialized in age reversing, even like just his study of lobsters and just different, like even he's so fascinating to listen to. In 2008, he was actually seconded by the US military to help create a technology when research and development was high in its funding priorities pre the Iraq War. They asked if our Navy SEALs are underwater in submarines for up to 6 months at a time, and they're just trying everything to stay alert, keep their body active, no exposure to sun whatsoever, what can you help develop? They already knew he was working with light therapy technology that's been around for hundreds of years, but they couldn't get it to a point where without seeing sun, how was this going to work? So he actually was able to develop Lifewave's first patch called the Energy Enhancer Patch. That patch itself was going to allow people to optimize just with some of these systems in their body energy that meant they didn't have to basically get their caffeine fixes and everything else, stay alert when they needed to, sleep when they need to, keep their Navy SEALs at optimum physical and mental health while they were 6 months sometimes just in these submarines. Just before it was about to really be released that way, through the military, the war broke out, they pulled all their funding, and they were actually then released the patent that was patent pending at the time back to David and Lifewave. And he went on and he began to collaborate with elite athletes globally, but specializing in America. And the Olympic swim team was some of the swim team that he was able to really patch and see them win incredible results in the Olympics. People thought Michael Phelps was, and his team was maybe on a particular drug. They tested them again and again, but they were actually accessing David Schmidt's energy enhancer patches to be at optimal performance and win some of their personal best in an Olympics. There you go. Dr. Steph's got it right there. It's a fantastic patch here in Australia, been 20 years on the market and still a really bestseller as a support patch to the main one we're going to focus on. Steph, do you want to say anything around the energy enhancer?
Sorry, I do this all the time. So this is where I get excited, and forgive me if I get a little bit unsciencey just with my enthusiasm. So the energy enhancer, I'll just share you my story. I'm 54 and I have been through a lot, nervous system regulation, all that sort of stuff, but also the wonderful stage of life that women go into. And my body held on to over 20 kilos of body weight. Now I'm quite tall. I'm taller than I'm between 5'9", 5'10". And it was, you know, you could see I was heavier, thicker, all that sort of thing. As soon as I included a little protocol, I have released. Now, I think adding this one was the juicy bit for leaning out my body. So I do work out now. I didn't before because I was too jolly tired. And the energy enhancer increases your fat burning capacity up to 30%. So if you're wanting to get leaner, it does a lot of other things, but I'm just sharing with what my major benefit was with this. What it will do is teach your cells to release energy that it's been hanging on to. So whether it's stress, lifestyle, age, hormone, or up and down, all the sort of things that teach your cells to retain all the energy, this actually reprograms it and your cells flush and release and some beautiful results happen. So thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. So basically that patch basically put Lifewave on the market 20 years ago. And again, some of these patches were approved here in Australia a while ago as well. But what he did is, even though he had all these other patches, early days, he said there is something, a peptide in our body, if we can really access it, switch it on. Dr. Steph will talk about that soon. I want to go more towards the age reversing, which is where the X39 stem cell reactivation patch comes in. So he took it to market himself, which is incredible. And we're just so grateful he did. The patent that really is the one we love relying upon is the one that says for the X39, it will elevate copper peptides, activate stem cells, improve energy, and elevate antioxidants. I mean, Dr. Steph, just for a second, speaking to patents, I actually like when we hear a little bit more about why they're important, both from a science and then a business opportunity as well.
All right, so from a science point of view, it states, so having a patent has to have clinical evidence behind it. So we have all the clinical evidence, the trials, the studies on the impact of what X39 does on the body. So there's a big tick there. From a business point of view, it's business protection, it's product protection. So we've got, correct me if I'm wrong, about 17, 18 years left of our patent. So there is not one company or manufacturer that can put out a product that does what this does, cannot make the claims that we can because of that patent. Patents give the inventor protection. So we as the company, we as the people spreading the conversation, we have something that is exclusive and you get to be a part of this as well, whether it's a consumer or that you want to link arms with Darren with.
Amazing. Thanks. So I'd love you to do the next few slides. Actually, I love how you speak about this and teach.
Okay, so the patch is, if you can see my camera, see the size of the patch on my body. I'm wearing the energy patch at the moment, and it's a dual patch, so I've got one on the left, one on the right. That's the size of them, but the X39 patch is quite tiny. You can see it on her back. Actually, I don't need to show you. So you can see on the slide, the lady's wearing it on one of the study points. So that placement works right on the spine. You can also wear it just below the belly button. When you wear this within 12 hours, you have effectively across the board activated over 4,000 genes in your body. Let me repeat that. By 12 hours, 4,000 additional genes activated. Genes are what drive your body to be unique, to work well. The stem cells are the apex. So when you have something that naturally stimulates your stem cells, the apex of, you cannot exist without stem cells. Let me just be clear. So stem cells are the apex, and then what happens is you start to reverse age. So you're aging at the moment, sitting there, you don't have a patch on. This interrupts that aging process, that degradation process of your systems, and you actually start becoming healthier to the tune of feeling like, and I won't give you an age because I keep saying I feel like I'm 28 again at 54, but that's what this does.
Amazing.
All right, so if you don't know what inflammation is, it's necessary in the body. It's the body's natural response to healing itself. Unfortunately, with our lifestyles, the continual stress and pressure that we're under, you create more inflammation. So catch-22, it shows up in your body most commonly as something that ends in itis. Okay, so you've heard of bursitis, arthritis, anything that ends in itis means you have a condition that is now present in your body because of inflammation. When you can interrupt the inflammatory markers in your body, your system starts to work a lot better. So your joints ache less, your tendons are stronger, your cells replicate themselves. So what does that mean? So if you've got unhealthy cells, they replicate same for same, which means you're not replicating healthier cells that are going to help you heal. The other thing is what it will do is strengthen through the cartilage, through the tendons, through the tissues, and go into your system. So your cardiac system will work better. Your neurological system will work better. You get my point, right? But what happens also is your rogue cells, the dying off cells, are eliminated a lot quicker. So you actually, and I talk in imagery, it's like a lawn. If you haven't looked after it, the weeds will start to take over. This gets rid of that. I know that's a silly analogy, but you know, some people get it. So thanks, Vanessa. All right, so phototherapy. This is a fun word. Phototherapy is talking about light. Your body emits heat. You feel it is heat, but it's actually light. And I do get asked this a lot of, what am I, a glow stick or something like that? No. With the right camera, you know, they call them heat sensing cameras and lenses, but that's actually light that you're emitting. So your body emits this light that hits the patch when you're wearing it. The matrix, the lattice work in the patch, then goes back to the body, so it reflects back in, and that's what activates your copper peptides. So copper peptide is the fuel for your stem cells. So it's like having all these little vehicles with fuel going into them, and off they go, and they triage through your body. Now, there's nothing in the patch, so it's not transdermal. Okay, let's be really clear, because there are patches out there, for instance, like melatonin on the patch goes into your skin. This is not that conversation. Like I said, this is very unique and exclusive. So non-transdermal, there's no stimulants, no drugs, nothing in that. So non-invasive and hyperallergenic. And when it goes, that copper peptide starts activating, like you had it in abundance when you're a child and in your early 20s perhaps, but then it starts to die off. So all those stem cell vehicles have no fuel, so they don't get to do their job. So you age a lot quicker. Making sense? Thank you. All right, so we'll just go through these. Increased strength. Your strength deteriorates as you age. You may have had an accident, or you've just pulled something doing something normal. When you're on X39, you are going to notice you'll have more defined muscle, whether you're working out or not. You will be able to do more in terms of heavy lifting or awkward lifting, whatever it is. You'll have more endurance. You'll have reduction in your inflammation. Things that used to, and it's quite quick. Let me be clear, and I'm not going to make any claims here, but the impact is quite quick. And I will talk, I'm going to interrupt. I have a client who patched for the first time last night, and her husband was poo-pooing it. He has a sore back. She put the anti-inflammatory patch on him within 5 minutes of being on. She's texted me saying he no longer has back pain, and he's been nursing it for 3 days. So when I say quick, increased stamina, you feel well overall. I don't know how long since you have actually felt vital and you haven't needed to do anything to sort of try and pick yourself up through the day. Your cognition is clear. You have mental clarity. So I can talk a little bit more about that because that's my wheelhouse in a minute. You'll actually restore, can you go back one, please? You'll actually restore bone strength. So all my middle-aged people that are concerned about bone weakness, calcifications, all that sort of thing, you will get improved sleep. Super important to go into your REM sleep. Most of us don't get it. And you will find your skin tightens up and clears up. Thanks, Vanessa. All right, so do you want to go with this one?
Sure. Well, no, I like hearing you. I want you to do it.
No problem. Vanessa's done this in so many times, and it's fun for her to have someone else doing this, so I'm fine with it. So like I said earlier, 4,000 genes begin to reset. What does that actually mean in your body? So your genes create through your DNA, fires up into your genes, and there's sequence. Now, if that sequence is not connected properly, so I don't know if you've heard about telomeres and how they communicate, but let's just do this. Watch my fingers. So telomeres, when you're young, there might be a distance between them like that, and the messages go across. So as your body works, as you age, the ends on the telomere get shorter. Guess what happens? You know, it can't make the message go across. So that also leads to earlier degradation of your health systems within your body. While you're on X39, you are increasing, like I said earlier, your 4,000 genes within the first 12 hours. Your brain becomes more balanced. What do I mean by balanced? And we shared this last night. It was quite funny. An unbalanced brain at the best scenario is someone that's moody or someone that's tired, or someone that's not able to make rational, reasonable decisions. And I like to bring in real-time examples, because when you see the change, whether it's yourself, a loved one, or whoever you're helping, they actually have a brain that starts to work better. Here's why. Your brain starts to clean itself up. It literally needs to go into REM sleep to do that. I won't use a term that we were using last night, but basically it gets to go release everything out. If you're not going to REM sleep, it hangs on to that. And that inflammation is one of the precursors for things like loss of memory, permanent mood changes, Alzheimer's, dementia. I am going to say right now, please, and I know Vanessa will reiterate, we are not making any medical claims. We've just got to be careful with that. But what that will lead to, so wearing the X39 interrupts that process. Here's the beautiful thing. As we age, we get more familiar with cardiac health, talking about heart attacks and all that sort of thing. This, within 6 months, your cardiac pulmonary system is so much healthier that we're seeing people reverse ailments, we'll call them, that they were concerned with. All right, Vanessa. Okay, so what we're looking at is X39, inflammation on the brain. So we've had scans. This is a 77-year-old woman, and she's been wearing the X39 on the back of her neck. So 3 weeks on the X39, you'll see the middle one where that red and orange, that heat, that hot inflammation representative has come down. If you look at the scale on the far right, you'll see up at 13 on the scale. CPUV means that is loaded with inflammation, and more likely pain, discomfort, lack of mobility. Moving into session 2, 3 weeks on, have a look at 6 weeks on. There is not an ounce of orange or red. So better brain coherence, completely turned around her conditions of what she was managing, settling for. Call it mediocrity. Thank you. So what we're looking at is the placements. Now, the X39, fun fact, can be worn anywhere on the body. I'll talk about that in a second, but the studies and the trials have used 2 key spots. One is just on the vertebrae on your neck. So if you drop your chin to your chest, that little vertebrae pops out. That's the area that we want to wear that on. That's where it's most effective. The other one is about 3 or 4 fingers just below the belly button, and you can wear it there. I do recommend trialing, changing each one. Most people that are wearing it on their back are talking about that cognition clarity. So obviously being in that nervous system and closer to the brain, they're feeling that. So you wear the patch for 12 hours. And then, so you pop it on in the morning, take it off, go to bed, repeat the process in the morning. That's about it. Oh, hydration, goodness. We all think we hydrate. I'm just going to really touch on this. Get yourself onto a quality Celtic salt. Now, if you're onto a pink Himalayan salt, please make sure, and I'm not being racist, but please make sure that it's not from a salt mine that's colored, which a lot of the China salt is. It's not true pink Himalayan salt. So get it from a health food shop. But what you do, and I teach all my patients this, the moment you wake up, tiny pinch of Celtic salt under the tongue, let it just start to dissolve, drink your glass of water, always room temperature, and then stay hydrated through the day. Why? This is going to show, it's like a magnifying glass into your body. If you're dehydrated, it's going to show, and it comes out in little ways like your, not migraine, your headaches might come in. So typical detox type symptoms. So please, please stay hydrated.
Awesome.
There we go. So Vanessa, you're up.
Thank you for, I love the way you speak. You know what, we share this all around the world, and every day people can, but when sometimes we really do get the understanding more of what this is, when someone integrative really begins to share, it definitely helps. I feel every time I listen to you, Dr. Steph, and other doctors, it just helps it move to even deeper places of revelation. Personally, we have partnered with, like I said, it's been 9 months of patching for us as a family. excuse me, it's been 9 months of patching for us as a family. So we just love to storytell for a few minutes. We do want to make one more disclaimer that when we tell our stories, which we have every right to voice and to do, we are not making these medical claims or these statements. What we're just giving you examples of is in our own bodies what's happening. Because when your own stem cells wake up, they'll go where they need to go, as Dr. Steph just said. So me patching and then patching my daughter, patching my husband, we all had very different things happen because our body is incredible and unique. So we're just going to tell a few of those stories and then let Darren and Steph share. But for us, it was, post the last few years and a lot of responses in our bodies physically around that stress and inflammation. And so I'd had multiple car accidents. I'd always endeavored to not be on high pain meds at all, but turmeric, all the right, curcumin and all that, everything I needed to stay anti-inflammatory, but the pain would be fairly constant most days. Just before Andrew's friend called, I'd actually just had a fall down our stairs, which could put me in bed and out of action for about 2 weeks usually. And so the day the patches arrived, I actually didn't think about it. It was that 3 days later, I hadn't taken anything for those last few days. Usually, again, I would be bedridden. It was just this overall sense of energy and well-being, similar to what we just got taught. For my husband, it was brain fog lifted literally out of his brain. And he says his body, after about 3 days of use, we have beautiful daughters. There was just so much stability around their cycles, around their ability to regulate their emotions. One of my daughters has had 3 major concussions, so major brain injuries. She would testify and has on many of these that for her as a 19-year-old, the stability that came back to her brain, the ability she had to not just have to sleep in dark rooms, to actually handle what was no longer migraines, but really just a few headaches. It was like she was a different person. Anxiety was high on one of my other girls. There was just a settling around that. In terms of some elderly family members, we basically were gifted the last 9 months what we would call extra with my father, which is why we'd moved back here. He was cognitive. There was just such a balancing going on for him. It was cancer through his body, so it wasn't the time of this was just not quite right to get all that. But we had a cognitive, connected father for the last 9 months with no pain through that process. And so we were just watching the patch technology just bring quality of life in that season. And then elderly, like viruses where they had no taste and smell for the last 7 years. Within 2 weeks of patching, our auntie was texting us going, I can taste spinach, blueberries, it was like delightful for her. And then the text came, I didn't realize what cheap wine I'd been drinking for the last 7 years. So we loved that text message. And so we're like, we this year knew what cheap wine you were offering. And so, but just like true loved ones impacts. And then personally, we patched a customer. He was an Olympic fighter with the USSR 30 something years ago. He has not had a day without pain in his body for 27 years. He was just about to get a hip replacement, and he patched within 6 weeks. He said, my doctor's about to call you. I said, okay. And he said, we're canceling my hip replacement surgery. She's never seen responsiveness like this and movement, and I've never ever had a day without this pain in my body. And he is just thriving. He's hiking mountains. He's traveling with his wife and family and grandkids. So it's just, I could go on, but that's our personal stories of people we know. And these are everyday Aussies, and we do have some team overseas. But I want to just hand it over to Dr. Steph and Darren to share a few of their stories.
Well, thank you. And thank you for sharing that about your beloved dad. And you know, I understand, I witnessed, you know, you got that extra time, which is wonderful. One of the things I do want to touch on, everyone's heard about all these collagen supplements, and I'm here to dispel the myth that, you know, with anything that's got to go through the gut, you're getting 2-3% of the benefits. So one of the things is, imagine being able to use your X39 and you're producing your own collagen. And literally, it is designed for your body because it is yours, your DNA, your genome expression. And what that'll do is literally strengthen your tendons and your cartilage, but also obviously get the elasticity into your skin. I'm like, Darren's known me for years. I'm just country. I don't get any work done, and my skin hasn't been this smooth in a long time, and I've been given plenty of reasons to be frowning. So the other thing is, this increases your blood flow. So if you've got blood flow mobility, that's going to do two major things: transport through your cells really good nutrition. It's going to extract inflammation, and it does promote expedited healing. Here's an example of it. It sounds rather extreme, but it's factual. A gentleman fell off scaffolding and he broke his ankle. He was reluctant to go ahead with the prescribed surgery because it would have meant pretty much a frozen foot. His plates, his screws, everything, he was going to lose every bit of mobility. It was like a clubfoot situation pending. So he got patched, and I want to say it was just a couple of weeks. He got scanned, and the doctor said, well, I do know it's that. Sorry, I was trying to pick the precise number of days. The doctor said after the scan that you don't need to have the operation, which he wasn't going to get anyway. But that expedited healing has happened for him. Now, off that story, coming off a plane 3 days ago, a woman she just travels around the world, works from a laptop, came out of an, what do you call it? Hot air balloon. Like literally, it was crashing and she had to jump. She broke both ankles. Guess what we're doing? She is patching. So one of the things in my clinic, like I said, I work with a lot of regenerative health. I work with a lot of athletes. I work with a lot of orthopedic surgeons. This modality is the modality that I can tell you hand on heart leaves the rest in the dust. And I have, like Vanessa rattled off a few, like red light therapy, all that sort of thing. I get offered pharmaceutical therapies. I get offered all these new biotechnologies. Nothing comes close to how fast this works and how effective it is for the long term. So with that, Darren, I'd like I've shared my story. Actually, there is one more. I had plantar fasciitis. Now, if you know a woman going through middle age, most of them talk about pain in the feet, in the heels, something's going wrong, or they're an athlete. Within half an hour of patching, just the X39, I had no pain in either feet, and I have not had plantar fasciitis pain at all since then. So we are seeing a lot of examples of children benefiting, the elderly benefiting. You give me a condition and I can show you evidence. So with that, Darren, I'd love you to share, you know, you are going to outsurf, you are going to outperform your friends. You're off on an incredible trip. You're doing this like a lot of us because we value having an extra income, because if you are not diversifying, if you're not setting yourself up to be sovereign, you really need to talk to us about this. And as Vanessa hinted, we are only at the early stages of the momentum of this. The hard work's been done for the last 15 months of getting everything ticked off. Now we get to benefit from that hard work. This is not hard work. It is simply having a conversation around what these stem cells do. Darren can share with you. I'm putting my hand up to help anyone that wants to run in this business with him. I give you my time, and we do little calls like this, or I can get on three-way phone calls and share and answer any questions, help with patching protocols. But Darren, share your experience and we can wrap this up.
All right. What have I done?
You're right.
Am I on? All right. Can you hear me?
Can do.
Excellent. All right. My experience, I actually found these patches in, I think it was 2021, and I was working lawn mowing, gardening, and I found them from a YouTube person I was following, and he was promoting them, but he was in Mexico. I got the products, I got them sent to Australia. I tried them. There wasn't a great deal of information as there is now. and I started feeling amazing. One of the things that hit home was with my trailer that I was using, the gate of the trailer fell down and skinned my shin. And it was amazing. It actually went right down to white flesh. And within a week, it was healed. The scab had come off, and it was like, I was like, wow. And prior to that, as you get older, you find things start slowing down. Things don't heal as fast. Um, Old injuries start bugging you. But anyway, I, but I was using other products as well, other supplements and things, and I didn't really narrow it down to the patches. In the back of my mind, I thought they were the ones that did it. And because it was so hard to get them, they were getting caught in customs and getting sent from America. I didn't order them again, and I thought I'm gonna not take them for a while and see how I feel. And anyway, life got busy, and I started feeling really crap. My back was hurting from the hard work I was doing. Um, and then they appeared again, and I thought I got to get some. And I actually found a lady down in Wollongong who was selling them through her practice. And pretty much that same day, Steph contacted me and said, "Have you heard of these?" And I was like, "I have actually, Steph. I'm just about to buy some." And then she explained they're in Australia now. I'm behind it. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I said, I'm 100% in, you know. I want to get back on them. I got back on them probably 2 months ago now, almost 2 months. And I'm feeling amazing. I started back offshore working in December. My back was pretty sore. I spend, 13 hours a day working and probably 10 of those hours in a crane operating. And my first hitches back offshore, I was having a really sore back, sore body. Um, but the last hitch, I used them when we went away to Vietnam. So I'm back on them 2 months now. But last hitch was totally different. No
Wow.
pain, totally focused. People even noticed my crane operating was like next level, was like so much better than the previous time I was out there. Um, these cranes that I'm driving are very difficult to operate.
Just
Um,
just on just on that note, mate, can I just point out Darren has and just that emphasis of being in that little box on the crane in the middle of the ocean, right? And the acuity that he's required to have for 13 hours and then try and sleep. It's not like he gets to go home. He has to sleep in
yeah,
this tiny, noisy little environment, and his recovery, his sleep is deep. I've got messages from you saying, I just had the best 8 hours sleep. I've never had that. And all we did
well,
was
that's
change
true.
a little protocol.
Yeah, that's another thing I was going to touch on. My sleeping is so much better now. I've been sleeping like 6 to 7 hours, even 8 hours straight, which is unheard of. Pretty much since we had kids, I stopped sleeping like that. And but
That's
Gaz will know
amazing.
because Gazza works offshore as well, and it's not a real nice environment to live in. But last time out, I was training before work in the gym. I was training after work, and then sleeping well. Um, but like you guys touched in the presentation, hydration is the key. And I just found I was just flushing out so many toxins or whatever.
Wow.
But just feeling amazing. My energy levels, my clarity was just like I didn't even think it could be the way it is now. And
Yeah.
just my body is feeling so flexible and strong. Like I'm same age as you, Steph. I'm almost 54, and I'm feeling as good as I was in my 30s. I'm going on a
Well
surf trip
done.
next week up to the Mentawais, and probably 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I was kind of dreading it. I was doubting myself. Am I still going to be able to surf these waves? And is my fitness level going to be able to scratch? And now I'm like, I'm 100% confident I'm going to be fine. I'm feeling better than ever, you know.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for that. You're going to outsurf everyone.
Oh, I don't want to
So
outsurf anyone. I just want to, surf and have a good time with everyone.
Yeah. I will say Darren had a wee little accident while he was away on shift, and he cut his head open, he patched, and in 2.5 days it was completely healed. Like all you saw was a little pale bit of skin. So I just wanted to say that. We will
Yeah, I was
start to
gonna.
wrap it up, but I will, yeah, we have to emphasize Darren has reached the sales volume, and I'm just going to talk about this for the minute because yes, this has a business model attached to it, and it's got such an equitable business model that you benefit off the business that both Darren and I and Vanessa are generating, and our business fills your cups up, which is just something I've never experienced in my life. But what I want to say is Darren's done this working from that crane, and he's just connected myself into these three-way chats, and we have built. So that dispels any hesitation anyone watching this might have around, I don't have time or I don't have access to Wi-Fi, because I can tell you I haven't met anyone yet that had limited Wi-Fi like Darren's got and the time that he is required to be at work. So we will work with you to help you build your business, first and foremost, to get a return on your investment, sharing the conversation. And I will say, we get paid handsomely. We get paid in US dollars. And if you've ever experienced that, it does look good when you get that deposit in. So we might wrap it up. Vanessa, thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm just gonna, the stories are the best. It's what it's about. But as Steph just referenced, I'm just gonna show you the investment into how you can get these patches, and then how to make it cost neutral, as Steph just said. And then you can circle back on calls around the business, but I will just highlight one or two things around that. So I'll just go back to our screen around this. For you just to get off this call, or even right now, just say, hey, I really do want a little bit more information. Obviously, there's calls that you can have with Darren or Steph, but also the information is all here. If you go to thisisit.info.com, it's a brilliant site. It dives as deep as you need it to dive. It's what is phototherapy. Then it goes further, and it's got doctors talking about it, the inventors talking about it. Some of the sales team of our team and people I know out of the US are hosting it. But they decided to call this page This Is It because they've been around both the health industry and the direct selling for years, and they're like, this is it. Like, there is nothing like this, right? So have a look at the testimonies. Dr. Steph just referenced a lot of them. She mentioned children. There's just some life-changing stories around kids that have been diagnosed with all the challenges when it even comes to this spectrum disorders, and how that has actually completely changed family units when it comes to the light switching on for these beautiful kids. Go to the deep dive on children right there. It's life-changing. I personally absolutely know children whose lives and families that are being changed from these patches too. Then you can go deep into all the other videos. This is how you do it. You're going to pick a package to start. You're going to come in at wholesale because there's no point to come in at resale. Like Steph said, the fact that it's TGA, we're allowed to have it here, is amazing. You are going to see US dollars, but this is in, this product now is so fast growing. It was in 75 countries. Now it's in like 108. So they've just kept this dollar value to it. And then every country just does what it does. But because you get paid in US dollars, that just helps, again, really just cost neutral if that's what you want to do. Silver is like minimum. We want to honestly let you hear us say 3 months minimum of this regenerative technology. We are telling some overnight stories, but this is a regenerative tool for your body. So after 30 days, 70% of people will see a result. After 90 days, 97% of people will see a result. Is it doing exactly what you wanted to do yet? Maybe, maybe not, but your body's intuitive enough to know where those stem cells need to go. So we say it needs to be 90 days minimum. You then usually take your age, say you're 50, you're going to basically say, for every decade of my life, I need to commit to 1 month of patching, because at that point, all your stem cells have now woken up. But now they can go to some of the more healing work, the regenerative work. So just think a little longer term about this than just an overnight quick fix. So silver gets you those 3 months to begin with. It's 300 US plus tax. Gold gets you and maybe you and a loved one, or you committing to that 5-month process. It gives you 5 months worth of patches. There's 30 in one of those little packs that you see there. So it's a month's worth every time you see that image of the pack. The diamond and at gold, you can really start to maximize what we call that flow back financially, that compensation plan. Diamond is where you get your best value. Instead of these patches being 99 per month US, they become 84 per month. When you go in at that bulk, larger family, or just longer term commitment, you might then choose that you do want to run this like a business. When Australia Post was 2 weeks, I was blown away and so grateful that someone I jumped on board with, my sponsor, rang someone else she knew who said, can you get a month of those patches to Andrew and Vanessa early? Australia Post is taking a long time. That changed why I wasn't in bed for 2 weeks because of that. And then when my packs arrive, I just gave a month back. So having that diamond kit is where you get to start to flow that out to your loved ones. Then they order, then they give you that pack back. So it's just like a rolling stock that you get. Plus, you get it at $84 US a month. Plus, you get 3 months worth for free. Plus, in terms of the business, you get paid at the highest level for 3 months, as Steph said. So it gives you a great chance to really just make your money back. And also, if you do come in at diamond and someone else loves that and also wants to come in, then you get 500 US back just every time you sell another diamond kit. This week, you actually get $800 back if you buy it this week. So, Steph.
I was about to say we're running a special at the moment. So if you know 4 people, it doesn't have to be 4, it could be 1, and you come on the diamond, you're getting 800 US as a product introductory bonus for them getting that. I do want to say, because I'm getting a lot of questions in the last 24 hours around this, you can bespoke. What does that mean? You can tailor the bundles. So let's talk about the diamond, because that has been the most popular, even though it's the most expensive. It's the Serious Builder bundle. Instead of just being just the X39, you can tailor those packs to include things like the energy, the Aeon for inflammation, the Silent Night to help get the REM sleep, the SP6, which interrupts cravings, whether it's overeating, whether it's cigarettes or anything like that. I deal with a lot of people that are trying to get off their addictions for pain medications. We're using this one really, really successfully. That's just a number of them. So you can bespoke, you can tailor these packs. So don't think that you're just stuck with one of the X39. Why would you, just quickly, why would you put the variety patches in? It's like, you know how your nervous system works. The stem cells are working up and down. They triage your body. But if you can add in this, it redirects some of the stem cells to where your body really needs it. So it's like putting a GPS. I know that sounds silly, it's just top of my head, but it's like giving your body a GPS for something specific, an ailment that you want to get on top of. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Perfect. Australia, what's amazing about here when it comes to support patches, glutathione and carnosine. I actually wouldn't like to end this call without just quickly speaking into that, Steph, because they are some of the greatest healers right now as peptides.
Absolutely. From the peptide point of view, glutathione it's a master molecule. If you're not getting that into your body and absorbing it and utilizing it, you are setting yourself up for cognitive decline, for immune system situations. So I have a client who, I won't use the C word, but keeps getting the flu-like thing. And as soon as we're applying the glutathione, they stop the symptoms. They have stopped getting rebouts, and it's been going on 2 months. So that was a really big one for me. The carnosine is incredible for increasing your cartilage strength. So that just amplifies everything that the X39 is doing and just takes it to, I won't say the next level, it's ceiling less. There's no level. So I do put a lot of my people on that. From an eyesight point of view, reach out to me. I want to share a story. So a lot of us feel like our aging eyes, you know, it's inevitable that we're going to end up with glasses. I'm looking at you guys. talk to you about, they might be blue light blockers. Talk to me about the optometrist he's ophthalmologist, so he's a physician, and reversing some very serious eye conditions and doing it quite quickly. Here's one for you. Vanessa doesn't know this. I haven't shared this publicly. You are the first to hear it. I have a young child, not me personally, that we're patching for her hearing loss. She was born deaf. She is now, I've got goosebumps. She is now responding to her mum without having the implants on the side of her skull. So they're quite removable for the young ones. And her mum just stood in the living room because the child answered her, and she could see the hearing thing on the bench, realizing, hang on, she's not wearing it. She said, I actually had to go and physically look to make sure. So we are seeing some phenomenal results. Don't take this lightly. You have access to something that is going to change you and your loved ones' lives. Thank you.
Perfect. So you'll get the order form, the links from Darren and Seth, but really this is what we call like just a belly to belly quick conversation, because they actually want to hear what you're believing for and what's going on for you, and bespoke those packs for you. So reach out to them. We're going to end by saying this, and we are very passionate about this. These models, the inventor himself says this: I was offered a lot of money, a lot of times, for getting this company into the hands of a corporate. Obviously, he would be. The patent, everything. He says, I chose direct selling because direct selling means the money goes back into the hands for all the marketing, all the middlemen. It goes back into the hands of the people that we want to say thank you for sharing. He said, I collaborated and networked as an inventor to get these ideas. The best way these can be spread globally in now 100+ countries is via the direct selling model. This right now has basically won. Lifewave right now is the world's #1 direct selling company in the world because of the X39. It's just hit. It's such an old slide. It was basically throwing around $20 million a year in profits because these patches were all in the hands only of practitioners. What I love about someone like Dr. Steph is, yes, she would know where to put some of those patches, but the X39, it just goes anywhere and it does what your body needs it to do, teaches your body. So we're now talking about $500 million, and it's set to hit $1 billion in the next few years. It basically, the compensation is so generous because it's being shared so fast that 60% of the income that comes in goes back on the field to the marketers, the direct sellers, the Darrens, the Dr. Stephs, me and my family. But 40% stays in research and development because it's pretty exciting what's happening with light technology through Lifewave. The reason why it's the fastest growing, friends, is this is not a supplement. This is not another powder, another pill. No one else has this patent on it. So for us, just the fact that we're multi-passionate entrepreneurs, we always have been. For us, this was also just a really exciting business decision. I personally like to go on record as we wrap up, and I'll hand it over to Dr. Steph and Darren to say, without that phone call from Andrew's best friend 9 months ago, I would not have been in the position to be present the way I've been to a massive transaction for my family and to be very present for my father in this last season. It's basically without making income claims. I'm basically on income I've never been on in my life before. And I'm genuinely sometimes 10, 20 hours, depending on my life, that's very full with lots of other things going on. I'm investing what I can when I can. And that has literally changed our family's life. And so if that is just something that would genuinely interest you, then that excites us as much as you getting well. So I'm going to hand it over to these guys to close it up. But thanks for letting me get to know some of you over the next time as you join community. And it's an honor to just launch you today, Darren.
Thank you, Vanessa.
So, Darren,
sorry, I lost you guys for a minute there.
That's okay. I just want to quickly talk to you. I've just pulled up businessforhome.org. Now, the number 1, number 2 listing, number 3 listings, they often change depending on time zones and all that sort of thing. I just want to share this with you. This is estimated what we as a company are making a day $354,795 a day. And we're just beginning. We're just beginning. So with that, Darren, thank you very much. Would you like to close it out? And then we'll go to Q&A once we stop recording.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Steph. Amazing presentation. You guys covered everything. When I jumped back on these patches, I jumped on pretty much purely for health reasons. And then Steph showed me the compensation plan, which I wasn't even aware of. And then I decided I jumped in as diamond. I was like, I was going to share anyway, because this stuff is like too good not to. But yeah, just if I could say anything, just trust the people that are sharing this with you, and it works.
Well, that's
100%.
you.
Like me.
That's you. You're sharing this.
All
This
right.
is yours. All right,
Trust
guys.
me.
Thank
Trust me.
you. Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everyone that's jumped on. John, Julie, Sally.